היום לטובה אשתנה, ואחדל להגיד לא רוצה, אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נרכב על הסוס הלבן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, תהיה גם אתה חברמן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, שם נחמד, עליז ונפלא. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נתנדנד על הנדנדה. ניסה נסתובב בגלגל הענק, יהיה כה יפה, שנינו נצחק, למעלה למטה ימינה ושמאל. אל תפחד, אני לא אפול. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נרכב על הסוס הלבן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, תהיה גם אתה חברמן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נרכב על הסוס הלבן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, תהיה גם אתה חברמן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, שם נחמד, עליז ונפלא. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נתנדנד על הנדנדה. ניסה נסתובב בגלגל הענק, יהיה כה יפה, שנינו נצחק, למעלה למטה ימינה ושמאל. אל תפחד, אני לא אפול. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, נרכב על הסוס הלבן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק, תהיה גם אתה חברמן. אבל לבוא ללונה פארק. יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי, איי 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 איי, יעלו שדי וכל אשר בו יעלו שדי, איי 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 איי. אז ירננו כל הצייר, אז ירננו כל הצייר,
open up my lips. Let my mouth sing only of your praise, and bless these fingertips, so that this pen will write my thoughts out on this page. 10 years ago was yesterday. What is time but a fleeting dream? And you seem so far away. Oh, our bond is tearing at the sea. If I'm alone in my own bedroom, then why do I feel down to my bones, like I'm so far from home, far from home? Bring me closer to you. Bring me closer to Music is a river, and it flows into my heart. And that music was a gift from you. The last strand, our connection torn apart. If I'm alone in my own bedroom, then why do I feel down to my bones, like I'm so far from home, far from home? Bring me closer to you.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm so happy to see you all, both online and here on this very wonderful evening tonight. I'm going to do take care of some safety business before we begin. So for safety and courtesy, please make sure you silence your cell phones. Now, I'd like to direct you to the emergency exits that are all around us. There are red lights here that are exit doors. In the back, they are green, and there are exits from where you came in. And in the lobby, there are also exit doors on each side. There are also a fire extinguisher right there, and another fire extinguisher and an AED, in case, in the hallway near the water fountain. So we have lots of things to feel safe about. So please look now, and children, you can help your parents find the green or red light, exit light closest to you. Just make sure you see it. Point is good. Very good. Thank you. So for those of you who are visual learners as opposed to oral learners, there is a placard in front of you and on the seats in the back, which gives you a quite readable diagram of our area. And that should be helpful for those of you who learn with your eyes. One more thing, in the very unlikely event that we have to evacuate, we will meet in the southwest corner of the parking lot, far away from the buildings. So thank you for your attention. Enjoy this wonderful Shabbat, and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. So this week, just yesterday, actually, I guess now on the Jewish calendar, it's 2 days ago, but on Wednesday night and Thursday, we celebrated Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. And so we're going to start with a little bit of music to mark the season.
So we're going to start with a couple of pretty familiar songs. If you've been in a Jewish, preschool, elementary school, secondary school, youth group, ever been to Israel? If you need the words, it's only one line to this first one. It's on 338 in your Sidurim. Called Am Yisrael Chai, the people of Israel live. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu, Or Avinu, Or Avinu Chai. Or Avinu Chai. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai, Am Yisrael Chai. This next one is not on your song sheets, but it's all about water. Mayim, 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 mayim. Everybody can say mayim, 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 mayim.
Mayim, 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 mayim.
Oh, very good. A little umpa to start to get us in the mood. A 1, 2, 3, and. Shabtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Shabtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Hey, mayim, 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 oh mayim besason, mayim, 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 mayim. Hey, mayim besason, hey, 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 hey. Mayim, 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 mayim besason, mayim, hey, hey, hey. Mayim, mayim besason. Shavtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Shavtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Mayim, 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 oh mayim besason. Mayim, 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 hey mayim besason. Hey, 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 hey. Mayim, 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 mayim besason. Mayim, 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 mayim besason. Shavtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Shavtem mayim besason, miminei Yeshua. Mayim, 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 hey mayim besason. Mayim, 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 oh mayim besason. Hey, 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 mayim, 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 mayim besason. Hey, 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 mayim, mayim besason. Hey!
Hey, Shabbat Shalom. So good to be here with you, whether you're here in 3 dimensions in the sanctuary, and I'm thankful that you are, or whether you're with us in 2 dimensions on the online, thank you for being with us as well. We're going to turn in our Siddur, and if you're online, at least on the Facebook link, I pinned the Siddur there so that you can follow along. We are on page 2. As we bless our Shabbat lights, I invite everybody who's able to do so to please rise.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirishanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlikne Shel Shabbat.
You may be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. As is our custom, before we enter into Lecha Dodi, we take a moment to reflect on the week that has passed. Much has happened in this week in each of our lives, and so we take a moment and reflect on each day, its blessings and its challenges, and then we'll come back for Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9, and when we get to verse 9, I'll invite you, if you're in the sanctuary, to rise and face the doors from which we entered, and if you're at home, to turn and face the doors of your home to welcome the Shabbat presence, the Nishama Yetera, the extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat, into our space and into our hearts.
Lecha Dodi. Your turn.
Lecha Dodi.
Likrat Kala.
Likrat Kala.
Penei Shabbat.
Penei Shabbat.
Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi.
Likrat Kala.
Likrat Kala.
Penei Shabbat.
Penei Shabbat.
Mekabela.
Mekabela.
Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat. Mekabela. Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat. Mekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibur echad. Ishvianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad. V'shem u'tiferet v'litchila. Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat. Mekabela. Lecha Dodi. Likrat Kala. Penei Shabbat. Mekabela. לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, תהי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם ניסוכה, so מעשה במחשבה תחילה, להדודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, להדודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, יורך, קומי אורי, אורי אורי, שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה. דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, להדודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Rise and face the doors if you're able.
ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה וסולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה, להדודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
Turn to page 26. Page 26. Continue with Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbi Be'alma nivrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei וחי יכול וביום יכול ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה בגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבם מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה בריחו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen.
Baruch Hu, our call to prayer, page 28.
One, two, three. Yada dai dai dai, 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 yada dai dai dai. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam va'ed Le'olam va'ed Yada dai 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 Yada dai dai dai.
We are going to turn now to page 34 and 35. Page 34 and 35 for Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Lu 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 Lu
seated. Page 37. Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai, your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai, your God. Bottom Hebrew paragraph, Leman Tizkaru, page 36.
Leman tizkeru, v'atzitem et kol mitzvotai, v'tem gedoshim le'Eloheichem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem l'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet.
Page 39. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there's a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there, except by joining hands, marching together. Michamocha, Song of Freedom, page 40.
Kamocha, Bailim Adonai, Mi kamocha, Nedar Bakodesh, Torah Tehilot, Osei Felem, Malechutecha Ra'uvanecha Chokei Hayam, Livnei Moshe u'Miriam, Everybody, ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Adonai Mo, the Lord. V'ne'emar, Kivad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo me'ad, Chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Amen. Page 43, middle of the page. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Spread over us your prepare us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haborei sukat shalom aleinu, sukat shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ועל ירושלים.
We turn to page 44. So we give thanks for Shabbat, this opportunity we have each week to ground ourselves, to reconnect to what's important, to connect with community and God and our deepest selves. Vishamru, page 44.
So we're going to need a little hand clapping and foot stomping on this one. Just try to get the beat. I'll help you. Start a little finger snaps. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Take yourself down to the islands. The home of the first Jews ever to set foot in North America. Well, they didn't have reggae music back then. They do now. Vishamru b'nei Israel et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, עשו את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם.
ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, עשו את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, עשו את השבת לתורתם ברית עולם.
Page 46. So we move into our Amidah, invite Whether you're at home or you're here, I invite you to rise if you are inclined to do so. And we're going to jump into our music, and by the end, everybody will be standing if we get there. Adonai, Adonai,
שפתי תפתח,
ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני,
שפתי תפתח,
ופי יגיד תהילתך. אדוני,
שפתי תפתח, ופי יגיד
תהילתך.
Page 48.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot U'Mei Geula Livnei Bneihem L'Ma'an Shemo V'Ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Be'ezrat Sarah.
Page 50.
Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai B'chayei HaKol Atah Rab Lehoshia Morid Hatal Mechalkel Chayim B'chesed Mechaye hakol verachamim rabim Somech noflim verofech holim Umatir asurim Umekayem emunato Lishenei afar Michamocha ba'al gevurot Umidom elav Melech meimid u'mechayeh u'matzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Hu Shmo
Ha'el HaKadosh.
Amen.
Please take a few moments for silent prayer for the text of your own heart or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. When you're through, please be seated.
So we're going to join together in a prayer for peace and transition from that into what we lovingly call Menachem's Nigun, a melody that he created to invoke his homeland, Poland, right near the Ukraine border. So the words here are Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, and we use the word salam, which is the Arabic word for peace, as well as the Hebrew word shalom. But your part is a little bit easier. You get to go heyo, like this. Heyo, 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 oh, try with me. Heyo, 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 oh. Now the words. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, shalom. Now shalom. Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shalom, salam. You're on Heyo now, and I'm going to sing the words. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Heyo, 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 hey. Quiet now. Hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh, hey oh,
One day,
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So as I mentioned at the beginning, yesterday was Yom HaAtzmaut. Wednesday night to Thursday night was Yom HaAtzmaut. and which is Israel's Independence Day. And of course, those who are familiar with the Jewish civic calendar or the Israeli calendar know that the day before Yom HaAtzmaut is Yom HaZikaron, which is Israel's Memorial Day. And so we go straight from the day of mourning in Israel, and there are ceremonies at the beginning of Yom HaZikaron, and at the end of Yom HaZikaron, there's a ceremony that then moves into Yom HaAtzmaut, Israel's Independence Day. And there are all sorts of weird, I've never seen the only place I've ever been hit on the head with a plastic hammer is on Yom HaAtzmaut in Israel. They have these squeaky, like clown hammers, the squeak, 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 squeak. When you walk down the street, people do weird things like that. But, every country has its own culture, so you gotta. All right. But on Yom Kippur, when I talked about Israel, I described myself as a troubled, committed Zionist. That's and I stole that term from Rabbi Daniel Hartman, president of the Shalom Hartman Institute. Because as a troubled, committed Zionist, I'm unconditionally committed to Israel's survival and to Jewish self-determination, to build a country based on Jewish and liberal democratic values. And I see Israel as central to the survival of my people and truly to my own identity as a Jew. And yet, I'm also troubled because to be a Jew, not only when it comes to Israel, but really when it comes to our values in general, and Israel's one manifestation of that, but to be a Jew is to be troubled. To view one's life and one's society through an aspirational lens, always striving to do more, right? To be more. And so when it comes to Israel, I'm troubled because Israel could do so much more to embody its commitments to human rights and equality within its borders and also in the West Bank. I'm troubled by the enduring occupation, and I'm troubled by the non-path right now toward peace. And I'm troubled by certain policies that make it more difficult for a one-day two-state solution to become a reality. And I'm troubled by Palestinian leadership's unwillingness to accept Israel's right to really be in the Middle East. And I do believe that in the long term, the best solution for the conflict is two states for two peoples, best interest of both Israelis and Palestinians, because for Israel to remain democratic with a Jewish majority, there needs to be some kind of Palestinian sovereign state. And for Palestinians to achieve their national aspirations, they need to have freedom and independence. The Middle East is a region with lots of instability and violence, and there's ongoing delegitimization of Israel, and these are just a few of so many challenges, internal and external, that Israel faces. And yet what always troubles me the most, as a rabbi in an American synagogue, who doesn't have a whole lot of control over what goes on there, is what is sometimes just the indifference of so many American Jews, right, toward Israel. For me, being Jewish is being part of a Jewish family. And I don't mean the Kupitz family, although I'm part of that family too, but I mean a Jewish family, right? The family of the Jewish people. And there are two major Jewish communities in the world, the North American Jewish community and Israel. And these are two communities that are very different from one another. But we are part of a family, and we have to understand each other and talk to each other and be engaged with each other. If we're not going to be a family that is estranged from one another. Pirkei Avot teaches Kol Yisrael Aravim Zeh Bazeh, all Jews are responsible for one another. We are a family. Throughout Jewish history, our story, and of course the land of Israel, has been a central image. We remembered and longed for Jerusalem when we lived in Babylon, when we were part of a golden age in Spain, when we suffered pogroms in Russia. when we lived as second-class citizens in the lands of Islam, and during the horrors of the Holocaust, when a third of our people was murdered. We longed for Jerusalem in prayer and in poem and in song. If I forget thee, O Jerusalem, may my right hand lose its cunning. And just not so long ago, actually 19 days ago, we said, Lishana haba Yerushalayim at the end of our Passover Seders, next year in Jerusalem. And of course, since independence in 1948, Israel has absorbed millions of persecuted Jews from Islamic countries, Europe, Ethiopia, the former Soviet Union. No other country in the world wanted them. Israel welcomed them and supported them with open arms. And so today, on this Shabbat, as we talk about Israel and Yom HaAtzmaut, which just took place, we seek to deepen our relationship with Israel, and I suggest three things that each of us can do. Three pretty easy things. The first is finding ways to learn more, right? To be more engaged with Israel. We're going to honor Gary Gilbert and Tammy Schneider in a little while in our service, and every year there's the classes that we offer here at Temple Beth Israel that have an Israel element that help us learn more about Israel or Israeli society or Israeli literature or other kinds of things that are going on. And sometimes we have multiple classes over a given year. That's one opportunity at TBI. And I often teach a class on Israel. I taught one this fall, a 9-week class, and I'm sure I'll be teaching others at different times. So we have lots of different opportunities to teach here at TBI, and in our online world today, there are tons of opportunities outside of TBI as well to find opportunities to learn and deepen. There's another kind of learning as well, which is reading the Israeli press, and there's a great English Israeli press these days, right? You can read the Jerusalem Post or Haaretz, or my favorite, the Times of Israel, which is online English, all English language newspapers. So opportunities to see the diversity of Israeli thought and opinion and debate that we don't actually see so much of in the same way when it comes to Israel in the American press. The views on Israel are actually much more diverse in Israeli press than they are in many ways in the American press as that plays out. Certainly the intra-Jewish views, the Jews of the Jewish community talking to each other, are much more robust in the Israeli press. Tzedakah is number 2. So number 1 is learn through reading, amazing books, lots of classes, news, other kinds of things. Number 2 is tzedakah, right? We, as a Jewish people, need to invest in each other. And there are so many different organizations in Israel, NGOs, what we call nonprofits in the United States, but NGOs that if you want to build an Israel that supports certain values that you care about, there are organizations in Israel that are working for those things every day. Talk to me if you don't know of some of those organizations. I'm happy to connect you, whether those organizations are working for Israel's security or for shared society between Jews and Palestinians, or whether they're working for economic justice, or whether they're working for environmental issues, or they're all there, and we can invest in Israel through those things and shape the Israel that you want, that reflects your values. And of course, the last thing that is always on my list, even if the other 2 on my list sometimes change when I have a list of 3, the third one is always go. If you haven't been, you should go. And if you've been, you should go again. And there are lots of opportunities to do so. I'm starting to take a list again. I know that next winter and spring, I'm going to be in Israel twice. So if we have enough interest to one of those trips that I'm going to be there, I'll add a congregational trip to a piece of that. There are trips for high school students and for college students, and lots of opportunities. TBI offers support for those trips as well. There are adult trips and family trips and other kinds of things. So to find an opportunity to go, and I'm happy to be a resource for that. So learn, invest. I was going to say go give, but I really see it as an investment in the kind of Israel that we want to have. And by the way, one of the things I didn't add there is Reform Judaism in Israel really needs our support in all sorts of ways. Reform congregations that don't get the same governmental support in Israel as Orthodox synagogues. They're also working for an Israel of pluralism and tolerance and democratic values and doing those things, and we can support them. And just like we have a religious action center that works on social justice issues here in the United States, there is an Israel Religious Action Center that is really important in fighting for religious freedom and minority rights and other kinds of things in Israel, and often has cases before the Israeli Supreme Court as that plays out. So lots of different things. So, see, I got sidetracked there. Learn, give, invest, and go. Find those opportunities to connect, and I'm happy in any of those ways for recommendations on any one of those three, on the learning, giving, or going. Happy to help direct you in many kinds of ways. One last comment. Not Israel related at all, but feels a little strange tonight, and I just want to acknowledge it, in a week in which there's a Supreme Court leak of a brief that has come out that is on so many of our minds in different ways that I haven't, that I'm not talking about that tonight at all. It's not going to go away between this week and next week, so unfortunately. So to let us know, we'll explore some of the Jewish things behind that and things like that in future weeks. But I don't know. I know it's hanging on me, so I just wanted to acknowledge that that's part of what we all bring in to this space today as well, in those different ways. And I want to wish all of you Shabbat Shalom, that the Shabbat is a time of renewal and a time of connection and a time of peace and wholeness for each one of you. Shabbat Shalom. We're going to turn now to page 253. Okay. Page 253, as we offer prayers for those in need of healing, of body, of mind, of spirit. For those of you at home, feel free to put names in the chat, share with others in the online community, people who you're thinking of.
O Holy One, who blessed our mothers, who blessed our fathers from ancient days, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem, V'hazikam U'lerape otam, Ve'yishlach lahem Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf, B'toch Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Tobak, Rosin Lefkowitz, Helen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Connie Shapiro, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Kathy Brewster, Jennifer Rudin, Marion Snyders, Brad Holland, Beatrice Caden, Meg Silton, Serena Postal, Bobby Kay, Marilyn Freeman, Robert Strober, Marilyn Lubarski, Ellery Einstein, Patricia Kramer, Joan Morris, Nomi Kravitz, Craig Sachs, Simon Saul, Blair Pollock, Myra White, Lori Snyder, Jeremy Knoller, Charity Razaday, Mike Klein, Lily Morrison, Sarah Coachman, Richard Handley, Barbara Fass, Joel Beasy, Burton Gershman, Carol Berlant, Janet Barong, Paula Steinbach, David Bush, Howard Bush, Dana Sundin, Lawson Spicer, Mark Fenton, Toyasha Sabag, Gloria Foster, Ava Bespris, Rita Warshaw, Ira Quatcher, Robert Gerard, Lisa Heyman, and
Mary Ellen DeMarco and Margie Wahlberger. Akadosh Baruch Hu Yemalei Rachamim Aleihem. Oh, bless and heal those in our hearts, and hear our prayer as we say their names.
Shabbat Shalom again.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you, Rabbi Encantor, for this perfect opportunity to combine tonight's Yom HaAtzmaut program with a gesture of appreciation for two of our extraordinary congregant educators, Dr. Gary Gilbert and Dr. Tammy Schneider. Would you please join us on the bima? And while they're coming up, I'm Laura Zuckerman, president of the board, and tonight I'm representing the words and feelings of Dina Benjamin, who couldn't be here, but who was chair of the Gratitude Committee. And that's what we are expressing tonight, gratitude. So, on behalf, I'm going to face this way, you'll excuse me? Yes. Okay. On behalf of Dina Benjamin and the Gratitude Committee and TBI leadership, we hereby make the following proclamation. See, they're laughing already. Whereas Dr. Tammy Schneider, professor of religion at Claremont Graduate University, and Dr. Gary Gilbert, associate professor of religious studies at Claremont McKenna College, have individually and as a team generously shared their knowledge and expertise with TBI congregants for almost a decade. Whereas Dr. Schneider and Dr. Gilbert have enriched our congregation with dozens of classes about the Torah, the Tanakh, King David, Israeli literature, Israeli elections, Israeli food and archaeology, film, Israeli immigration, notable synagogues across time and place. Remember that one? and most recently, Women, Warriors, and Wives in the Bible and Modern-Day Israel, and many more. Two more whereases. Whereas Dr. Schneider and Dr. Gilbert have developed a rapport that you can see and banter that you can hear that makes learning accessible and fun for all congregants, regardless of their educational backgrounds about Israel. One more whereas, and whereas Dr. Schneider and Dr. Gilbert have graciously offered these classes at no charge, year after year, for the benefit of all. Excuse me. Be it resolved that in lieu, see what I mean? That in lieu of actual compensation, there might be some good liquor in it for them, the Gratitude Committee, TBI leadership, and our entire congregation hereby demonstrate our sincere gratitude to you with these framed certificates of appreciation.
Thank you.
Congratulations and thank you.
Can I get a hug? Thank
I
you.
miss working with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so Temple Beth Israel thanks you both for all you have done and continue to do to inform and educate our congregation, and with such spirit. Toda Rabah, Gary and Tammy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
My pleasure.
Okay, sit. Yay. Gary actually asked me while he was up here, are we going to do birthdays? And I said yes. I didn't tell him this next part. I just said yes, but it's actually the next thing on the order. But I needed Gary to be able to put down his certificate. So if you have a May birthday, a birthday in the month of May, raise your hand if you have a May birthday. 1, 2, 3. Okay, not 4. Great. Okay, and then I need a few people who don't have a May birthday to come up here and hold a canopy for me. Non-Mays.
Yom Huledet Sameach Yom Huledet
All right, come on down if you have a May birthday.
Yom Huledet Sameach Yom Huledet Sameach.
Claudia, can you turn on this?
That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are you on?
Yeah. Hello? Oh, you can hear, but we can't. Oh, you can't hear it either? Can I take this?
It doesn't go very far, Rabbi.
Hey.
Stand
Okay.
there. And your battery's good or no?
It's good. It's just not working. All right. You may not be able to hear me at home, but that's okay. I'm going to give them a blessing in just a minute. All right. So, first of all, just want to wish those of you with May birthdays a happy birthday, and more importantly, a year of goodness and of blessing and of good health, all of those things together. And we will, Cantor, Paul and I will offer you a blessing. You probably, so those of you at home might be able to hear him, but we'll see. All right, so here we go.
Yivarechecha Adonai ve'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha vichunaka.
Light shine into you and through you to others. May God be compassionate unto you.
Yisarunai panav elecha ve'yasem lecha shalom.
God, all that is good be present for you in your life. May you find wholeness and peace in your heart, in your family, in your community. And may you join with others to bring our world closer to wholeness, to peace, to shalom. And we say together,
Amen.
and
For those of you at home, Rabbi is now passing out these ceremonial birthday pencils. Those pencils are courtesy of Mark Feynman, who creates the chocolate himself, sculpts it delicately around a pencil with the Hebrew letters Yom Huledet Sameach, happy birthday to you. For those interested in your own birthday pencil, we suggest that you come the first Friday of every month when we do honor birthdays here at Temple Beth Israel. That's right, friends. Come on down. Oh, sing them out now. Yes, Rabbi. Yom Huledet Sameach. Everybody. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. One more time. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach. Yom Huledet Sameach.
page 278. We're going to, I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer, and now we continue in the middle of the page with the blessing.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer.
Our praise to you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer.
Hayom Tisha Asar Yom Shahem Shnei Shavuot V'chamisha Yamim LaOmer.
Today is the 19th day, which is 2 weeks and how many days? I'm not very good counting. 1 week and 5 days. 2 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. Yes. All right. And now we will move to Laura, for announcements. She's up here a lot tonight.
Shabbat Shalom again.
Shabbat Shalom.
On behalf of the board, thank you all for being here, both online and here in the sanctuary. Todah Rabbah to Rabbi Kupitz and Cantor Bush for the wonderful service. Jazz hands to the TBI Shul Band, always a treat. And to Claudia Gonzalez, who handles the technology and makes it look so easy. There's a lot of thank yous tonight. To our outdoor monitors and greeters, Christine Aiken and her crew, Leela Goldsman, Courtney Medina, and Sharon Sachs Regalato, and our indoor greeters, Judy Rose, Lance Watsky, and Kylie Sykes. Here we go. Special thanks to the Gratitude Committee, Chair Dina Benjamin, Judy Rose, Deborah Kummerman, Renee Marcus, Catherine Martins, Lauren Namath, Diana Linden, and Roz Kane for their contributions tonight and for sponsoring what will be a beautiful refreshments for our own egg. And special appreciation to Judy Rose for her beautiful calligraphy on Gary and Tammy's certificates, which you'll be lucky to see during the ONEG. TBI is an active and engaged Jewish community. To learn about our activities, in case you're not aware, check out our website, our weekly email, the Mekahila, the lobby, or ask a TBI friend. And just bear with me, because May is packed full of important good stuff. First, TBI's annual fundraiser, 2 collections and 1 connection. It has begun. The silent auction is live online, and bids are coming in plentifully. Okay, it'll stay open for bidding for the next 10 days. It is full of wonderful, interesting, useful things, items, and services and offerings. Please find that link. It's everywhere. And look at all that stuff, all price ranges. Please take a look. Bid generously to help us cover our costs and continue to flourish. The second auction, live auction, we will get together on Zoom Sunday night, May 15th at 7 p.m. with great fun auctioneer Tony to further support TBI by raising your paddle, as well as bidding for exotic trips, gourmet meals, and more. And here's the connection part. Bear with me. Saturday night, this is unique. Saturday night, May 14th, 7 p.m. on our great lawn. Let's get together for Israeli wine, thanks to Gary Gilbert, cheese, sweets, and the Reed Gratz Jazz Band.
Woo-woo!
Ending with a Havdalah service, free of charge. Please RSVP to the office so we're sure to have enough goodies. Finally, if you haven't already signed up, please sign up for a house meeting and come dream with us about TBI's future. These meetings, which are in person at congregants' homes, at TBI, and on Zoom, start May 15th. Don't miss this opportunity to socialize and brainstorm for our future. After the service tonight, join us in the social hall for motzi and kiddush, refreshments, and the joy of being together. And get to know someone new. It's the TBI way. Shabbat Shalom.
So I counted yesterday's Omer instead of what is now today, but was originally tomorrow's Omer when I put it together. So I would like to correct my error by chanting the right number, and Rabbi will then not look at me in confusion as to why I counted the same thing that I counted at our Zoom Siyum on Wednesday night. So here we go. Hayom echad ve'esrim yom shehem shlosha shavuot ba'omer.
Today's the 21st day, which is 3 weeks. And I don't have to do any other math, just 3 weeks in the counting of the Omer. All right.
I'm still suffering from the abundance of matzot that I ate from. It's affected my...
Page 282. Middle of the page. Invite you to rise if you're able for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach Ladon HaKol Latekedula Leotzer Breshit Shelo Asanu Kegoyei Haratzot Velo Samanu Kemishbechot Hadama Shelo Sam Chelkenu Kahem Vigor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Page 294, we take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. If you're online, you can mention people in the chat. You can sit if you're in the sanctuary, because we have stuff to do before we say Kaddish. So you can be seated in here. We remember the recent deaths of Lionel Ketchum, of Esther Bespris, mother of Ava Bespris, David Grossman, husband of Adrian and father of Mark, Stephen Gerard, brother of Neil Gerard. We remember the Yortzites, the anniversaries of the deaths of Helen Bamberger, Jeffrey Duran, Jacob Friedman, Sari Friedman, Rob Futterman, Tony Groveman, Charlene Handler, Leonard Levin, Sue Levy, Rabbi Irving Mandel, Yosef Marek, Maria Rothbart, Miklos Rothbart, Taibo Rothbart, Ricky Serlin, Mary Stephen, Michael Blumenfeld, Hamilton Brewert, Nan Bruce, Bernard Cooper, Annette Feynman, Garrett Hill, Francis Lieberman, Jeanette Rosenthal, Frida Salinas, David Tobias, Lillian Avedon, David Benson, Ann E. Chesler, Sidney Fisher, Harry G. Friedman, Milton Gutenplan, Eileen Harrison, Samuel Rubenstein, Leonard Stanley, Nathan L. Zoller, Harry Brown, Uri Cohen, Martha Knowles, Morris Marger, Karen O'Brien, Jacob Schweidel, Sonia Andrew, John J. Bohr Jr., Russell Cohen, Anna Geffen, Lillian Lax, Harriet Levy, Mark Meckler, Ruth Dalehard, Mike Hugh, Ursula Teppich, Milton Clayman, Irving Elhai, Herbert I. Feldman, Bernat Fisher, David Fisher, Paula Fisher, Samuel Fisher, Shlomo Fisher, Zoltan Fisher, Samantha Harris, Jenny Karshauer, Robert Kirschbaum, Blanca Pollock, Julius Pollock, Catherine Pollock, Marvin Salzberg, Barbara Simon, Myron Wolchin, Esther Zipser, Bernard Dubrow, Vilma Grossman, Harvey Cates, Alec Nell, Linda Menorah Levy, and Nisim Moshe Mochel. If you're remembering somebody on this Shabbat would like to add their name to those that I've mentioned, please feel free to do so as I come by your row. I'd like to just add, particularly because of the Israel theme of today's service, that over the last few months there have been a number of Israelis killed in terrorist incidents, and we hold them and their families as well in our hearts. If you're in a time of mourning or observing Yortzeit, I invite you to please rise. And I invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise and embrace in support of those who mourn. Kaddish 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael b'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen.
Amen.
Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dukudisha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing. And we're going to conclude on page 347 with Al Kol Eileh.
So before we move to Al Kol Eileh, I just want to thank the school band. In case you don't know them, Reb Menachem Mirsky on guitar and vocals, Al Shapiro on reeds, Reed on piano, Jeff Levy on percussion, and Jeff Klein, I'm sorry, Jeff Levy's over there. Hi, Jeff. Jeff Klein on percussion, Ed Beardsley on bass. We're missing two of our members today. We wish Dana Sundin a rapid recovery from her injury. She claims she will be back, looking forward to being back with us for June 1st, and our newest member, our violinist Francisco, wasn't able to make it at last minute, but we look forward to welcoming him in June as well, and of course all of you. So, Al Kol Eileh. All of these things. I encourage you, even if you're not comfortable with the Hebrew, to try and join in with the chorus. And if you're following along, just read the beautiful words at the bottom. Our prayer for each other and for all citizens of Israel and the world. Al hadvash ve'al ha'okes, al hamar ve'hamatok, al bitenu hatinoket, shmoreli harov, al ha'esh hamvo'eret, al hamayim hazakim, al ha'ish hashav habayta min hamerchakim. Al Kol Eileh, Al Kol Eileh, Shmor na li Eli Hatov, Al Hadvash ve'al ha'okes, Al Amar ve'hamatov, Al nata akor natua, al tishkach et hatikva, hashiveni ve'ashuva, el haaretz hatova. Moreli al zeh habayit, al hagan al hachoma, viagon mipachat peta umin milchama, shemor al hamad sheyesh li, al haor ve'al hatav, al hapri shelo habshil od v'shen esav. Al Kol Eileh, Al Kol Eileh, Ha'amoy Eli Hatov, Al Hadvash ve'al ha'okes, Al Hamar ve'hamatov, Al nata akor natua, al tishkach et hatikva, hashiveni ve'ashuva, el haaretz hatova. V'rash reish ilan baruach, v'rachok nosher kochav, mishalod libi v'choshek nirshmot achshav. Ana shmor li al kol eileh, ve'al ahuvei nafshi, al hasheket, al habechi, ve'al zeh השיר על כל אלה, על כל אלה, שמור נא לי אלי הטוב, על הדבר שעל העוקץ, על המר והמתוק, על נטע הקור נטוע, אל תשכח את התקווה, השיבני ואשוע אל הארץ הטובה.
Shabbat Shalom. Please, if you're here with us, please join us in the back for Kiddush Motzi refreshments. Those of you who joined us online, thank you so much for being with us. See you soon. Shabbat Shalom. Lehitraot.
Shabbat Shalom, להתראות.